All right, guys, we're doing a video today. We'll move the mat. What do you think? Does that look better? Ooh, got too much. There we go. We'll keep it on the mat just for scratch purposes. But we're looking at the Asher Knives Spiro titanium, full titanium. This is the opening hole version. This is, I think, the second one he's done of this, where he had thumb studs before, maybe. But this is the one I was excited about because, you know, me, I love a thumb hole for opening. Hence, the Para 3 is one of my all-time favorite knives. The Strider SNG, one of my all-time favorite knives. You get a theme here, all opening holes. So, wanted to pick one of these up for 115 bucks. Why not? I mean, why would I not? So, S35 VN, so basic specs. Your overall length is 7.4 inches. Closed is 4.2. Blade is 3.2. It is obviously drop point blade, S35 VN finish, full titanium. And you've got brass ceramic caged bearings, super smooth. It weighs 3.2 ounces. It's pretty thin. It's 0.38 inches thick, so it's a pretty thin knife. Just a good size overall, right in my wheelhouse. Good weight, 3.2. Blade thickness is less than an inch, so it's nice, thin blade stock for good cutting. Just an overall. You gotta be kidding me. It's like my calipers are always missing. If I could do one of these videos in one take and not have to edit, that would be awesome. But it's also thin behind the edge. Really thin, like 13 thousandths, I think is what I measured it at before. So it is very thin behind the edge. I've used this thing a lot and it's still very sharp. I've stropped it one time, I believe. But I carried it pretty much exclusively for like a week and a half, used it for a lot of stuff. I'll roll in some footage, a lot of cardboard I broke down. Guys, this is such a good value. It could be like one of the best value knives out there. When I say value, obviously $115 is not a lot of money, but to some people it might be, right? It's not what I consider a budget knife. But for what you're getting, full titanium, S35, ceramic bearings, yeah, it's fantastic for the money. So good. I really like it. So some thoughts on this guy. People have complained about the pocket clip. You can see, maybe you can't, I can't tell, but the finish on the pocket clip has not held up very well, just from carry. Just rubbing on stuff, it's kind of getting all scratched up, which is whatever. I think if people are like, oh, they should be a milled clip. If you could do a milled clip, it's gonna increase the value of the knife, or the cost of the knife. The whole idea behind Asher Knives is for him, he likes to keep it in the budget realm, right? I don't think he has, I think this is his most expensive knife. I could be wrong on that, but I think it is. Most of them are a lot less expensive. 70 bucks, 90 bucks, and 95, 56, 75, like, you know what I mean? So this is his most expensive. Most of his knives are under $100. Pretty impossible, not possible, really hard to make this knife with these materials under $100, especially in today's economy. So, but I think it's a great value. Some details here that are really nice, especially for this cost. The pivot, like there's no branding on the blade except for the steel up here. He did all the branding right here on the pivot. Love that. And it's flush. It's nice. The screws all sit flush, so it's nice and just smooth and seamless. The fillers, this is left-handed friendly for all those lefties out there. So lefty EDC, I know, loves this knife. In fact, he had it for a while, a prototype, and he was gonna send me on the pass around, but I just bought one. So there's some nice finishes, like the hardware's finished really nicely. It's all stainless steel hardware, but it's just finished really well, especially for the cost. The OEM on this is Kunwu, who does the Tau and maybe a couple different models. You do have a titanium backspacer here as well. Nice jimping here that works really well. It's not overly aggressive, but it's super functional. This knife is so ergonomic. It's so good to use. Like you'll see in the cut test, I mentioned it, like just doing some of those push cuts and stuff, it just feels great. The action is dialed for sure. I mean, look at that. This is out of the box. I have not opened this knife. I have not lubed this knife. There is no blade play up or down, left or right. It's just that flipping smooth. Some people have had an issue with the detent. When they do this, it doesn't really drop. That could be more, not necessarily from detent, but maybe lock bar pressure as well. But mine does not do that. So either way, freaking amazing. So let's roll in some footage of me cutting and we'll wrap it up. All right, so there's a lot of use on this guy. The steel has held up well. Haven't had to sharpen it. Just dropped it the one time. It's still, you know, at least paper cutting sharp. And it came very sharp from Asher knives. So if you're not familiar with Asher knives, I'm sure a lot of people are that watch this channel, but just in case you're not, it's a small company. They do small batch knives, kind of like a boutique watch type shop, but they just do knives for in the budget range and just a small drop. So unfortunately, this knife is sold out. That's the only problem. Hopefully they tend to restock and he'll do other runs if it's successful. And I think this one is going to be probably his best selling knife. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So it's phenomenal, guys. For the money, it's seriously hard to beat. Let's do some size comparisons. Here's the Kaiser Mini Roach, the Flipper Delete that I did a video on the other day. Again, the Para 3. So these are all very common, very close in size to those two knives. A little bit bigger than the Mini Roach, about the same size as the Para 3. And the SNG should be a little bigger. Yeah, definitely. But kind of in the middle range. So really good size, really dig it. 100%, if you can pick one up on the secondary market or if they do another drop, make sure to pick one up because they're well worth it. Really great. Could be the best value in knives this year. So we'll see. It's, you know, almost June, so we're almost halfway through the year. Blade Show's coming up though. Blade Show in Atlanta and in Salt Lake City this year, which I'm stoked about because it's only gonna be like a 15-minute drive, 10-15-minute drive. So might see some more cool stuff come out, but for right now, this has got to be sitting king for the best value of 2022. Thanks for watching and see you next time.